Hello, all my friends in TV land. This is Senior Issues, etc. I'm your host, Vita Verdon, and I've got a very interesting show for you today. Hurry up, get your tea, get your coffee, get your Coca-Cola, and a paper and pencil. Come and sit down. Now, this guest that I have on the show today, it's our honor to have him. He's been on before, and I think that what he's a part of is very vital for our community, and you need to hear it. Either you need to hear it or somebody else that you know needs to hear it. So sit down and relax and pay attention to this information. And I want to give a warm welcome to the attorney that is with us today, Donald Leibsker.
Hi,
And
Vita,
I said
how are
it
you?
right.
Yes, thank you for inviting me back. I
Oh, it's so
appreciate
nice
it.
to have you back. Now, I know that you are such an advocate for seniors. Now, I would like you to tell our lovely audience out there the name of your organization and what it represents. But before that, why don't you give a little background of yourself? And I know that if you want to blow any kisses, you know, you can blow any kisses. I know that people get a kick out of that portion. That's a kind of a tradition with us.
Okay, well, certainly would say hello to my wife, Linda.
Okay, and a kiss.
Okay, Linda. And I'm an attorney. I've been practicing 50 years and have a private practice where it's pretty general, but I do a lot of probate work and estate planning for seniors. And about 15 years ago, helped start an organization called Legal Advocates for Seniors and People with Disabilities.
Okay, it's called Legal Advocate for Seniors and Physical
People with Disabilities.
and People with Disabilities. That covers a range.
It covers a range, but it's mainly for people that are in debt and unable at this particular point in their life to manage their affairs and are looking for some peace of mind. And I did this in conjunction still with the Chicago Legal Clinic, which has been in business over 40 years and is a 501c3 not-for-profit also. We're a joint venture and we do this together.
And you must cater to a pretty wide audience, because I know that people run themselves in debt without realizing it.
Well, first we started this in Illinois in the Chicago area, and now we do this nationwide. We have about 1,500 to 2,000 people that are in the program every year. And it really deals with people that, for whatever reason, they've gotten themselves into financial trouble.
How did this come about? Did this come about through your law practice?
Well, indirectly it did. I had a client that was a credit counseling company that helped people pay their bills.
Oh, I see.
And they were getting a lot of people who didn't want to file bankruptcy, didn't have enough money to file bankruptcy, and or didn't even have that much debt, but they couldn't take the pressure. So they asked me to see if we could develop something to help these people, because they were calling the credit counseling company to see if they could pay their bills off, but they didn't have enough money. When they took care of their mortgage or their rent and utilities and medical expenses, there was no money left over. But they were getting these constant calls and letters all the time.
And you developed this program.
We developed the program. There's a couple other companies or lawyers who do this around the country right now, but we developed this first. And basically, if people are getting a pension or Social Security, that money that they receive is protected by the government by law. So the creditors can't touch that money, even though they might be threatening the individual that we're going to take your Social Security. Most of these people are scared. They pay their bills all these years.
So those threats don't mean anything. They just do that as an intimidating force?
Absolutely, Vita. That's usually what happens. And most of the time our clients haven't needed attorneys before. They've paid their bills before. So they feel whatever these debt collectors or credit card companies who are calling them, they think that in fact that they're going to lose their home, they're going to get kicked out of wherever they live because they can't pay their bills. And once they get some representation, things have changed completely. And I do want to say this. They don't even need our organization to help them. When I said that the money that they get is protected by the government, they could say, don't call me anymore, I'm not going to pay you, I don't have the money to pay you.
Most people don't know that.
They don't know that, but the reason they would call us, they feel a little intimidated or scared to talk to the creditors. They figure with an attorney representing them that they're able to be on an equal plane with the creditor. And what we do is we contact the creditor. We have an affidavit showing the people's income and expenses to show them that they can't pay the money every month. We show them their pension or benefit statements showing that, that in fact the money is protected. We tell the creditor our client is not going to pay them and is not going to file bankruptcy. And we ask them to leave them alone and to contact us if they want to.
Now, how has this worked? They have to pay for your service, and is that done in a certain? Who's qualified?
Well,
what are the qualifications?
Usually anybody who's unable to pay their bills.
That's a qualification.
And has money that's protected by law. It could be beside the fact of Social Security or disability income. In fact, 25% of the people are younger and are on disability, but it could be alimony, it could be workers' compensation. And all these are protected from if somebody does sue an individual and a court, let's say, says, oh, you owe a creditor $3,000, even though you owe them the money, the next step that the creditor has to do is to try to collect the money.
Now, do you work on a sliding scale?
No, we have a fixed fee.
Okay.
So the fixed fee is, it costs $260 to join the program. And it can be paid in 4 payments of $65 a month. Okay. And then afterwards, there is a continuing cost of $35 a month to stay in the program. But the people don't sign a contract. They could stay in the program for as little or as long as they want. So
well, what if the person doesn't have money to pay? Let me ask you that.
If their income is under $1,000 a month, we have a hardship program, and we waive the initial fee of the $260, and then it's $35 a month after that. If they don't have that money available, like I said at the beginning, we don't really do any magic for them other than give them some peace of mind and represent them. They're in no worse position whether we represented them or not, because they're still uncollectible from that creditor, whether we're representing them or not.
Well, what I want to ask you is, now that's for the money part. Now, how does this disability fit into the program?
Well, the same thing. If somebody isn't eligible for Social Security, but they're receiving disability, and that actually comes through one of the government programs also, that too is protected income.
Okay, so say they can't pay their bills and they're on disability.
Correct.
So that would be working the same way.
Exactly as if they were just on Social Security or
so that
pension.
is but most people aren't aware of this.
I think not, and actually they're surprised, you know. And I was surprised when we started this, what an effect we had on people's lives, because they're scared. They're elderly in many cases. Maybe they've lost a spouse. Maybe that spouse is the one who took care of all the money things in the past. And maybe now with that spouse passing on, there isn't a sufficient income anymore.
Okay, well, now you do have a website?
We do have a website.
Could you just look in that camera
Certainly.
and give the website real slow?
The website is mylegaladvocates.org.
Say it again.
mylegaladvocates, with an S at the end, advocates.org.
Okay.
Or they could also look up Legal Advocates for Seniors, Legal Advocates for Seniors and People with Disabilities.
And people with disabilities.
And that'll pop up, our website will pop up.
And how about a telephone number?
The telephone number, I'm going to look at and tell you the number. It's a toll-free number, because I know you have listeners from all over. It's 866-785-3885. 866-785-3328.
Say that again.
866-785-3328.
Now, I know that you, if I heard you correctly, you started this program about 15 years ago.
Correct.
And so it's probably really developed.
It's developed some of the things that we were scared about at the beginning and doing some things. We weren't sure till we had some trial and error to see how things would work. So one of the things we were concerned about is if somebody owns a home and they would get sued, possibly because the creditor, the debt doesn't go away, you still owe the money. I'd say 95% of the time, once we've sent our letters out to the creditors will leave the people alone. But what we were concerned about was that if they sued the people, they do have a right to put a lien on an individual's home. Now, people were scared about that. And what I've always said to our clients, don't worry about the lien. The lien will just stay there. One day, if they decide to sell the house,
then they could be taken.
Then it could be paid up. They're not going to get kicked out of their house. Our concern was that if somebody owed a lot of money and the lien was put on the house, that maybe that creditor would take some action to force the person out of their house.
We're going to pick this up after I do my commentary.
Certainly.
Now it's time for Vita's Pearls of Wisdom. Now, with a very sad heart, I come to tell you that one of our most faithful, loyal crew members has passed on. His name was Art Kick. Our condolences go out to his two daughters, Karen and Kimberly, and his son Kevin, and his many grandchildren and great-grandchildren. And Art was our Renaissance man, that he worked on graphics, he worked on the camera, he also did our reproducing of our DVDs and send it out, and he was available on any kind of job. So he surely will be missed. And what I did is I've got a little poem that I'd like to give for him. At the age of 91, all the battles that you have won through the Father and the Son, your glory days have just begun. And that is for the family. You will surely be missed. This is on behalf of me and the entire crew, that we were like a family. We are like a family here, so he will be greatly missed. Now, I'd like to continue on. If you go to my website, I've had a lot of calls. I thank you for all your emails. I thank you for your calls, and I thank you for the letters that you have written me. I think I've answered a lot of your questions about the different services that you can go to. But if you go online and you go onto Senior Issues, etc., etc.org, you'll go onto the home page, and then on the home page you'll see this face right here, my face, and you scroll down, and the crew, and you scroll down, that a lot of answers for a lot of the questions, like I have the representative from SCIF, I've got the different representatives from all the different services. I've got somebody on there from SCORE, and all the information is on there, that press on programs and all these programs, and what the program is about, and not only what it's about, but the name of the person and what their status is in the program. It's very clear. It's not a complicated website. Now, I know a lot of you don't have computers, but I tell you, if you go to your closest library and go to the reference desk, what they have is, the person may not be at the reference desk, but they may be like downstairs. They'll send somebody, because they have a whole lab of computers, and they will help any senior dig out any problem. And also, if you're looking for like your representative from SHIP, that you can go to your local library and they'll tell you, like I can tell you, like in Waukegan, there's one at Park Center on Lewis Avenue, and in Lake Forest at the senior center in Lake Forest, but I don't know the other ones around. I don't know where you're living, and whatever your library is, they'll tell you your closest contact, because I get a lot of calls on that, like where can I go? You know, and that's the best way because they have a list of them. So I'll leave you with that. And one more thing, because somebody was asking me, I wanted to show you about this cane I had showed you before. You can get them at your medical supply house, and this has got really sturdy feet, and it's got like 4 little feet, you know, and you know, the doctor said I wouldn't get out of the wheelchair, and I said, you're wrong. They said, you won't get out of the walker. I said, you're wrong. And here I am on the cane, and I hope someday I even get off the cane, because, you know, the best is yet to come. We're going to get back to our guest because he's got a lot more information for you. So we're going to get back to you.
I enjoyed your commentary very much.
Thank you very much.
And I think I had met Art when I was here previously. I'm sorry, too, about your loss, all of you. I had said in terms of people maybe being concerned that there would be a problem with their home. So we learned over a period of time that even if the client was sued in some manner and the lien was put on their house, we've never had anybody lose a home at all or even close to it. The other thing that we're able to do for people is if the creditor now has sold that debt to another company or it's with a collection agency, once we write a letter to those companies advising them that our client is being represented by an attorney, they have to stop calling our client. And at that point...
So no news is good news.
No news is good news. So they know they have to stop, because if they call again or they write again, we actually sue the creditor. Because they're violating something called the Fair Debt Collection Practices Act.
Well, do you think that these creditors, this is kind of an intimidation that they use, right?
They use an intimidation to try to collect the money, because most of the time these collectors, they get a commission. They got a lot of pressure.
Well, they work on a commission, so that's the motive behind it.
Yeah, I mean, they could be pretty tough and kind of scary, you know. Once we've sent this letter out and they've called the client again, we'll sue the creditor. In most instances, we could get the debt wiped out, and we could actually get $1,000 for our client because the law's been violated. So there's a lot that we can do, and our client could get some peace of mind.
Well, now, what I had mentioned earlier, you probably need volunteers in your organization, don't you? Could you tell us, like, what the jobs would be and how much time involved?
Certainly. Well, we're very flexible, and we do have volunteers, you know, all the way from high school students and college students to senior citizens. And we have...
So there isn't any age limit?
There is no age, no.
It's from like a teenager to, say, 105.
Exactly.
And even we've even taken somebody 105, right?
Absolutely. And so what we're able to do is, while our office is actually in downtown Chicago, we have people working with us that are in Florida and in the suburbs of Chicago. So some of it could be done at home, some could be done in terms of volunteer, working with the staff in our office downtown.
So then the hours required is kind of flexible.
Very flexible, because with students, they have their own schedules. Certainly people that might be younger who are conversant in working on the internet and with websites, we could always use help there, or if somebody's retired. A lot of the, and actually our person who does our internet work, he lives in Columbia. So if you have some listeners that may even be vacationing from out of the state from time to time and want to continue to volunteer, if they call us, we could see if we could find a spot for them.
Now, what number would they call?
Okay, that same number that I had before, and that's 866-785-3328. 866-785-3328.
And then also tell the website. That would be good.
The website is mylegaladvocates.org. And you'll be able to find our website there. It shows all the different things that our organization does. And if they can't find it there, they could look up legal advocates for seniors and people with disabilities, and our website should pop up there also.
Now, being the person who you were kind of the founder of this service, that you have really seen a growth pattern. Do you know what kind of growth that you have experienced?
Well, like anything else, just like you were telling me about your program, that you just started out very small, and now you have all these stations all over that, that participate in some way. We started from just a few people, from really thousands now that we've helped. And an awful lot of the people, we don't advertise at all.
Well, how do they hear about
Well,
you?
they hear about us either from referrals. People are happy and they'll tell their friends.
Oh, they're happy and they say, oh, I know of some place you could go.
You know, we were on television once before we decided to try it. But what happened was our costs are very price sensitive to people. And so when we took the cost of the commercials, that we did get hundreds of calls. But now our costs, it didn't balance out because we had to raise our prices in order to pay for the cost of the commercials.
And you got your price down so low.
And we got so this way we could control everything. We're doing fine. The people that are involved in this at the Chicago Legal Clinic and myself, this isn't my sole source of income, so everybody is able to support themselves.
Are you involved with the legal clinic? What is the connection?
Well, the connection is, this is a joint venture, this business with them, and then they'll refer me, in my own practice, different individuals who might need some help with estate planning or some elder law issues or probate issues or things of that nature, or other debt issues that may have. So they'll make some referrals to me also. And that's the connection with the Chicago Legal Clinic.
But with this service, with the debt for anybody and for disability.
Yes, ma'am.
See, that's isolated unto itself.
Yeah, you're absolutely, it's isolated onto itself. It's a separate program that the clinic has.
It's a separate program.
In fact, it's the only one, the Chicago Legal Clinic deals with people with domestic violence and people who are trying to get their criminal records expunged. But this is one of the only program that they have that is expanded beyond the Chicago area and in other states.
But like with this problem, sometimes it relates into this other area.
It's very possible.
But it's two separate areas.
Two separate areas.
I see. Now, what do you see for your future?
Well, I think we're going to, just like yourself, you know, we're always looking to expand. We want to try to find more people that might need our help. And we're looking into some other areas where we could possibly help seniors with debt that may not necessarily fit into this program. Actually, we're looking into something right now where people who are not seniors and who have debt but are protected.
Oh, you're transferring it into a lower area.
Into
That's
lower
a good
areas.
idea.
So we're trying to look into some
people.
things to younger people also right now who are facing the same problems as seniors, but the issue is a lot of their income isn't protected like the seniors are.
Oh,
so
what separates the seniors and the disability, that is protected money by law, and with the younger person, it's a job, and that's not protected by law. Is that correct?
Exactly. Now, the one thing that we can do, because so much of this debt is with collection agencies and being sold to other creditors.
Now, is a lot of this debt through accumulated debt on the credit cards?
Usually credit cards, and some medical also, of course, especially with seniors, you know. And it just accumulates over time. People are paying the minimum payment, and the balances never go down. They've been struggling, and really, and they're not buying their prescriptions. They're using money that they should be taking care of for themselves and their health. Because they're getting these calls, they're using some of their money to send to these creditors. And what we're doing...
So they're neglecting themselves. It's out of balance.
It is out of balance, you know. And once they realize that they don't have to do this, that the creditors don't have as much power as it seems like they have, and they can take care of themselves better. First of all, mentally they'll feel better knowing that they have somebody that's helping them, and secondly, hopefully they could use some of this money if they're neglecting themselves to take care of themselves.
So, so in other words, people are really ignorant of how the law lies and what their protection is, and you're providing that. But it seems like a senior, this is kind of like a weakness, and they feel protected, like you're a protection for them.
Where we're protected, but here's the thing. We've all grown up, you know, we've been raised to take care of things and pay our bills, so we feel bad, because I'm certain most of the people, if they have the money, they would pay it. So now they feel bad that they're not paying it, they've always paid it, and now they really have to rely on the law to protect them. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, the law is established in just every area that we have, usually to protect people in some way. And they're just taking advantage of a right that they may have at a particular time in their life.
Now, let's give the website one more time, because I want people to really catch on, because I'm sure that who's ever watching the show, they either are involved in something that's over their head, or they know of somebody. Everybody knows of somebody that is over there. So let's give the website one more time.
The website is mylegaladvocates.org, and they don't have to be scared to contact us, because we're not pushy at all. We'll be happy to give people advice over the phone. There's nothing high pressure, and there's no...
You're not charged for any kind of advice at all.
Absolutely not.
And you have to find out what's going on and what is your legal right, right?
Absolutely.
And I bet that is really comforting for you, knowing such a simple method of handling it is bringing relief to so many people. That's a good thing.
Makes me feel great. In fact, I've done a lot of things in my own practice. I think this is the thing that I'm most proud of, because it really is helping a lot of people. Absolutely. You know, it's something that I helped start and makes me feel wonderful.
Now, we do have a large senior audience out there, and who's ever watching, what kind of legal advice would you give to them in any area to take worry out of their life and to make them feel safer? You look right into that camera and give them, bear your heart out to them.
Well, usually I would say things aren't as bad as they seem. I'm certain when people have problems and when they have money problems, sometimes you can't sleep at night, you just worried yourself sick. And I guess I would say once we're able to talk to people, once they learn their rights, and once they learn things aren't as bad as they seem to be, they'll feel a lot better whether they participate in our program or not. They just have to have the knowledge of what their rights are under the law, and they'll feel an awful lot better, and it will get some peace of mind. That's the main thing that we could help people with.
Well, I know that your heart is in this matter, and I know you're really helping a lot of people. So we want to get the word out. So give the website one more time.
Sure.
Right there.
mylegaladvocates.org, and the telephone number, if they'd like to call, is 866-785-3328.
And now you know what time it is when you out there sitting on the couch listening to this come to the end of your rope. You tie a knot and hang on. And what we want you to do this week is we want you to catch the spirit, because the best is yet to come. God bless you. We love you.